Great. Hi, my name is Kristie Stumprourke, and welcome to Cape Talk with Kristie. It's a weekly program where I interview a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Yes, the Chamber of Commerce. We introduce the world to what Cape Vincent and the Thousand Islands has to offer. Today, my guest is Nick Breezy. Nick is the owner of Ann's Fisherman's Fair. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Nick, can you tell us what Ann's has to offer?
So we're actually we have breakfast and lunch, and right now for the early spring we're going to be open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 1:30. And as the season progresses, we're planning for mid-May to be open 7 days a week, breakfast and lunch.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
Will you ever be open dinners?
We at one point we were open for dinner, but we decided just to stick with breakfast and lunch. So breakfast and lunch is what we're offering.
Can you give our audience an idea of what a breakfast what kind of breakfast do you serve?
So we have everything from omelets, pancakes, French toast. We do have homemade corned beef hash, which is a big favorite. We have sausage gravy biscuit and typically omelets, and things like that. So typical breakfast food. We also offer oatmeal, cereal, homemade muffins, of course, and so that's typically what we offer for that.
What about lunches?
Lunches. So we have our grilled sandwiches. We have burgers. We have hot sandwiches, hot turkey, hot meatloaf. We have club sandwiches, and then typical fryer food as well. So, and actually Fridays we're starting to do fish fries, and we offer them as a dinner option, and people will take them to go, or some people will eat them in, and they seem to really enjoy those. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
One thing I notice, and I think a lot of people enjoy, is every day you have specials.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, and we make sure. I like to make sure every morning to post our specials for folks that maybe aren't right in the village of Cape and that are coming into town, so that way they know, hey, Ann's is open. Let's go check it out. Hey, they have that on for special today. So that's what we like to do. Yeah.
Fantastic. Is there any special that you have to put up there every week that people just always want?
Let me think. That's a tough one. It really is. I would definitely say Friday it would almost insult our customers if we didn't have our homemade macaroni and cheese for lunch. Of course, that typically goes well with our fish specials and fish fried, things like that. So, yeah. Yeah, that would be one special that certainly people are adamant to have. So we always make sure to have that. So
Fantastic. All right. So we have an idea of what you offer.
yeah, yeah.
And I want to let the audience know a little bit about you now.
Yes.
And why I think it's special that you are the owner of Ann's Fisherman's Fair. Nick is a young business owner. He's only 28 years old. And I want you to tell the audience who originally owned your restaurant.
So originally it was actually my grandmother, Grandma Ann. She opened it up in 1986. She opened up so long before I was born. She opened up, and of course, she's originally from the Rochester area, so she would take trips up to the Cape Vincent. So Cape Vincent was always important to her. And after my grandmother retired, my Aunt Lori took over. And my Aunt Lori just recently retired, and I figured what better way than to jump in and hop on board and take over. And that was very important to see it stay in the family because this place means so much to many people in Cape Vincent and farther away as well.
So you're third generation.
Third generation, yes I am.
That's
yes,
fantastic. What are some of the things that your grandmother did back in 1986 when she first opened the restaurant that you're still doing today?
So typically, when you walk through the door, whether it's your first time visiting us or your 50th or 100th time going into the door, typically, Grandma Ann liked to know people by their first name. And so when we closed up at the end of every afternoon, we would close, and you would still have that personal experience with us. And so what I mean by that is Christmas time, you may see a Christmas card coming from my grandmother. And typically, I like to hold on to that tradition because I think it means a lot to people that come into the restaurant to know, hey, we matter, and hey, they're thinking about us. So I think that's something that I like to continue.
That personal touch.
That personal touch, absolutely.
Now, you told me a story just recently that a young couple came in right after you opened in March, and they had something that their grandmother or your grandmother had sent their parents.
Yes.
Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, and so again, I had recognized this couple. They came in for breakfast, and they came in, they had a card in their hand, and of course, I didn't think anything of it, and they told me, right in the middle of their breakfast, they said to me, we'd like to show you something. It might have some meaning to you. And I look at it, and it's a Christmas card. And they were going through their parents' things that they had in their attic, and yeah, they brought in a Christmas card that they had from several years ago. And seeing that, it brought a tear to my eye, because just to know that our customers, they're a lot more than just customers. They're family. And I think Cape Vincent, it's the perfect place. It's a close-knit community. Everyone knows everybody. Everyone's like family. And that's what I really love about Cape Vincent. Everyone knows everybody, and everyone's together. That's what it means a lot to me. So.
Do you have any future plans for Ann's?
Future plans for Ann's? Well, of course, I mentioned to you before our interview here, they're going to have to scrape me off the floor. I like to say that because I have no intention of being anywhere else but here in Cape Vincent. Being a part of the volunteer fire department, getting involved with other organizations, working with other businesses, Cape Vincent means a lot to me. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but Cape Vincent. So, yeah.
Let's see if there's any questions that anybody would like to ask Nick about Ann's Fisherman's Fare. Oh, that's something I wanted to ask.
Sure.
Why did your grandmother call Ann's Fisherman? Well, we know Ann was your grandmother's name.
Yes.
But why did she call it Fisherman's Fare?
So when she came up in the early 80s, when the place was actually up for sale before she bought it, the big popular thing to do in Cape Vincent is fishing. And when she opened up, we had a lot of our fishing guides coming in. And a lot of, some of them actually relatives of theirs are still going. And I think it's just one of those things where Fisherman's Fare, well, hey, boy, beautiful river, people are always going out to fish. So I think that's probably where she got the name, was Ann's Fisherman's Fare. Of course, had to have her name in there. And Fisherman, Cape Vincent's a fishing town, so...
And didn't you also tell me she used to also treat the fishermen and the guides and the charter captains a little bit special as well? Didn't she also used to make a bag lunches and the such, and put in a little special touch?
Yeah, and typically even after Grandma Ann passed away, of course she's been gone now 11 years. After she passed away, we still get a lot of our charters coming in for breakfast, and they'll usually call a few days ahead of time to say, hey, just wanted to warn you, we're coming in for breakfast. Do you think maybe we could do bag lunches, cold cut sandwiches, chips, things of that nature? And typically we'll add a little personal touch. We'll add in some homemade chocolate chip cookies or something like that, just to put into the cooler and take while they're out there. That way they don't have to take time away from fishing. And that's something that we're continuing to do to this day. So, yeah.
It still looks like no one's asked any questions as of yet. I thought for sure someone would have a question for Nick. Nick, what would you say that, other than the Christmas cards, what's something else that Grandma Ann left behind that you can feel every time you walk into that restaurant?
I think it's just that the family environment. I really do. And even beyond the Christmas cards and things of that nature, people coming in, you know everybody by first name, and beyond that, you typically know what people like. And after, maybe it could be one or two visits, people coming in, you get to know their order too. And when you walk in, hey, I know you by first name, and hey, I think I know what you'd like for breakfast or lunch. And they're like, how did you know that? What is wrong with you? Do you have nothing else better to do than to memorize our orders? And it's like, well, actually, no, I really don't. But I think it's back to, I think it's the family environment, and when someone walks into the door, we like to make them feel at home. And that's something that's very special, and I think something that makes Cape Vincent unique is that family feel, and that's what we love about Cape Vincent.
I know it was only the second time I came in. You
Mhm.
knew I wanted extra ketchup with my
Oh,
sandwich.
absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely, I did. I sure did. Yes.
Yep. And I love that about Ann's is, and I think you said this, it doesn't matter whether it's the first time you've walked in or the 100th time you've walked in.
Mhm.
And if you don't know their name yet, you're going to make a point of knowing their
Getting
name.
to know them, yeah.
Because you want them to come back.
Absolutely.
And I love that about Ann's.
Thank you.
Still no questions.
They don't want to talk to me. They see me enough. I don't blame them.
If nobody has any questions for Nick, Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Before I let you go, though, I do want to let everybody that is watching know that this is actually the second time I've interviewed Nick. Nick is the feature in our What's Happening newsletter for the month of May. So you get to read a full article on Nick next month, actually in just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So make sure you pick up your What's Happening newsletter as well. Again, Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And next week, join us again at 11:45 on Facebook Live. Thank you, everyone.